I made a claim that we have entered the bull market. We are back in we've gone over the 10% correction. We're at about 8.5% right now from the all-time high on the S&P. That all of the numbers that came out, which seemed in the headlines to be horrible and horrific, and the market just dropped like a rock, that if you look at even an inch below the surface, it was the best negative report that you've ever seen.
On GDP.
On GDP, on everything. There was all kinds of reports yesterday, and every one of them were positive. Well, I guess the ADP was not positive. So the ADP number at like 85,000 employees, although somebody was saying, I never went back and checked, that it was all private sector American citizens. Whereas for the last 4 years, it's been all government employees and
that were getting the jobs
and immigrants that were getting the job increases. Yes, all the increases came from immigrants and from government employees. So this was a
previously, but now it's private sector.
Huge switch. So anyway, the reports were excellent yesterday, and so I just said, it looks to me, and the market went up. Like I said, from that we were sitting right on that 10% number on the S&P all week. Last week, the end of the week, Monday, Tuesday, I said we're going to break one way or the other here, and the break was over a point up, up and toward the right. So Bloomberg came out today and said they think the risk-on market is back. And so I was like, okay, well, if Bloomberg agrees with me, I might have something here. What do you think?
I think you're right, but I was even earlier to this idea that we had bottomed. So I'm a former CBOE stock options market maker.
Right.
So I know a few things about stock options, and typically the VIX only peaks once in a crisis.
Right.
So it doesn't peak multiple times, and I just want to share this one more time. So I'm going to request to share my screen.
Yep.
All right. And I'll also show a fresher version of the VIX. So back here is 2009, the bottom in 2009.
Right.
So when you had a spike later, this was like the like around the European debt crisis and all that. Then this is the COVID, when people started talking about depression around COVID, and right before Trump said, let's get America back to work again.
Right.
I think that's like March 23rd, 2020. And then here we have it. I think it peaked higher than 40. This looks like at 45.
I think it peaked 60.
Yeah, it was like 50 or 60. So where we peaked. And I don't think if we do have a supply chain crisis, I don't think it's going to be worse than what we had around COVID.
Not even close.
And all the shutdowns.
Teddy bears might be in short supply.
That's right. Plastic toys, all that. Yeah.
Right. Cheap plastic stuff. CPS, we called it in the industry. So
CPOS.
Yeah, right. So, all right. So yeah, we talked about this last week in terms of a bottom, and I agreed with you at the time that the 20% that we were down overall was probably it. We probably weren't going under that. What I was saying over the weekend was that, or Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, was sitting right on that 10%. We might still go down, maybe touch the 20% again, or maybe only go down half of that. There was negative news or some kind of indication that things are still a little rough out there, or we would start up again. But we not only started up, we started up for the right reasons. And I saw some information today on the breadth of the market right now. And the breadth of the market over the last few weeks has been excellent. Way more participation by other pieces in the S&P.
Mhm. I'll just share the deeper dive into the VIX real quick.
Sure.
So this was April 7th, and it did hit 60 that day. We were buying pretty heavily in the NASDAQ and S&P, and then we bought some individual names the next day. Um, so, you hit these peaks, and then that's the peak of the uncertainty, and that tends to be the bottom of the
Right.
market.
Right.
And people don't want to believe it because we still have a lot of uncertainty. Like things haven't
Sure.
played out. We haven't heard about the first deal yet. There may be a deal with South Korea or India or something like that. Um, but I, I think the peak uncertainty is behind us.
Right. And I think the VIX was down to 24 today, 24 and
Mhm.
change. Yeah. So, all right. So if we're back in a bull market, and I'm saying that the bull market is a bull market not because of technical reasons, but because fundamentally there is nothing right now really in the numbers that would indicate that we're going to go negative in the GDP before we get to the golden age. So we have strong MasterCard, MasterCard, Visa, both coming out saying that spending is at 6%. Numbers came out yesterday also as part of these reports. Spending was
Mhm.
6% up. I mean, sorry, 0.6% up, which would be over 7% annualized. Housing numbers came out yesterday saying that sales were up, our actual people that were in escrow was up. So everything I'm seeing is shocking me because I was the one that was saying I thought we would have at least a 1 quarter recession, a real recession.
Mhm.
It would be not just these technical issues of imports versus exports or whatever. And now I've changed my mind. I just changed my mind. I don't see it. I think we're going to go, all good, all clear.